everybody, it's Emma and welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. For this video, I wanted to take you on a little mini tour of the bookshelves that I have here in my room. I've got this one and then I have two up on my wall up there. Honestly, I don't really have much of a plan going into this video. I was just looking at my bookshelves the other day. I was just really appreciating them. So I just wanted to honestly talk about them and maybe give you some inspo if you have similar things that you need to organize. I don't know, this could be really boring, but I just wanted to talk about books again, so that's what we're doing. Alright, so if you kind of know the layout of my room, I use this shelf obviously as storage for all my books, as well as some trinkets like my camera here. But I also use it to get ready every day, so I have all of my makeup stuff stored in this closet, and then I'll just pull my desk chair out and sit usually on this half in front of the window and like do my makeup and do my hair. I've had this bookshelf for like 2 or 3 years honestly, because before then my books were just literally on the floor in this same spot in front of my window. So I needed storage for that, and I was looking at potential vanities to use to get ready. And I can't remember whose idea it was, but somebody in my family suggested just getting one of these, which we have several of these kinds of bookshelves in our house. Putting it here and using it for both purposes, which I will say has been very successful for me and I really like it. So the way my general organization system works is all of these books are books that I have already read, or like I have read and then bought to put as part of my collection later. The 2 bookshelves up there on my wall, which I'll show you later, are all books that I own that I haven't read yet. So I'm not going to go through every single book because that would take forever, but I did think that it'd be kind of fun to just go through the way that I was thinking when I organized these, because they've stayed pretty much the same for, again, like 2 or 3 years. I did know that I wanted to keep like similar books together, and I also wanted to like differentiate how they were stacked. Some of them are stacked like this, some of them are stacked like this, and I really liked the different variety and how it looks just aesthetically. And like I was saying, I have them grouped by kind of general topic. I just grouped them by what I thought were like books at the time. So starting with the one that you can see the best, I've got kind of what I think of as like the books that I read when I was like in elementary school and middle school, kind of that general category. So I've got some books in here that are mine. We've also got some classics that I also read for school, like Fahrenheit 451 or Frankenstein. Honestly, the ones that stand out to me on the shelf are Stargirl and Out of My Mind. Out of My Mind, I remember being the first book that I read. I don't even know when, but it was the first one that I read that like I really just loved and like wanted to reread. And I feel like it was one of the first books that got me into reading as a hobby. I should really reread that sometime soon. And I think that they're coming out with a movie adaptation. I don't even know what it was about it, but it just kind of changed my perspective on reading and made me realize that I actually enjoyed it and wanted to do it for fun. So that one I love and I will always keep. Also Stargirl. We read this for school as well, but I remember reading it just for fun. I don't really remember like all the details of this book, but I always remember being really confused on why there was so much drama surrounding Stargirl. I also remember there being some sort of plot line about her being homeschooled or something like that, and I thought that was really funny being a homeschooler myself. But yeah, so that's kind of what's in the shelf. And like I said, I have my little Polaroid camera. It's purple, my favorite, and it just sits up here to kind of decorate my shelf, but also so I don't forget I have it, you know, and I can actually take it out and use it from time to time. Okay, so I have to kind of like crouch over to be in the frame, so I don't know, I'm doing my best. I'm on the ground. So down here is a little bit different. I feel like most of these are my nonfiction books or books that are based on like the real world, if that makes sense. The only outliers I'm seeing are like this, the new Percy Jackson book. That was really the only spot I had for it. Like I don't have a Percy Jackson shelf, unfortunately. This is the only one I own, so this is kind of just where it fit. So there's that one. The Fault in Our Stars, this is kind of where it fit with my other John Green book, and then We Are Okay is also fiction. It's a little scattered, but I honestly don't mind that. I feel like part of the reason I love my bookshelf so much is because they're very flexible, and like I was saying, I like the general categories so I know where to put things, but like it's really whatever fits. The shelf also kind of breaks what I was saying earlier about how these are all books that I've read, because there are some books that I haven't read or like I started and never finished on this shelf. I don't really read a ton of nonfiction, so I like to keep them all together so I can know what I have, and if I'm ever interested in reading a nonfiction book, I know where to go, but I don't put them on my to-read shelf because they either were or will be there for a very long time, and I just kind of wanted everything in one spot for easy access. But yeah, I've got like a bunch of different stuff on the shelf. I've got both of my John Green books, like I was saying. The Fallen Heart Stars and I'm gonna say this wrong, the Anthropocene Reviewed, so sorry, were also both books that really kind of changed my mind or changed my life in a way. You know, if you only get one recommendation out of this entire video, I'd really go with the Anthropocene Reviewed. It's basically just like a bunch of essays put together on random things throughout the world. When I first heard that description, I didn't think I was gonna like it. John Green turns it into something like really valuable and profound in a way that I honestly don't even know how to describe it. It's not a very long book and they're very short essays, so from what I remember, you can just flip through if you would like. I've also got like some poetry on here, like Heart Talk by Cleo Wade. More stuff that I can just flip through if I ever want to. And then of course also on the shelf I have my little Christmas decorations, which you'll see throughout this entire video. So let's scoot down a little bit more and give my back a break from crouching. Alright, so if I'm being completely honest, I think that this is my favorite shelf out of all the ones in here, so sorry. Don't tell anyone I said that. But I've got some of my absolute favorite series up here, as well as this other little tree decoration. So I think this is probably one of the only shelves I'm actually going to tell you every single book that's up here because I just love them. So first we've got my copies of The Raven Cycle and the first of the Dreamer trilogy, Call Down the Hawk. I've said this once and I'll say it again. I think that The Raven Cycle is my favorite book series since moving past the classics like Harry Potter and Percy Jackson, at least classics in my mind, and are just so interesting. They're magical. They're so well written with all different types of characters and all different types of stories being told that I don't know. I just really hope that everyone reads them because they're just that great. I just recently reread all of them on audiobook because the audiobooks are also incredible. The person who reads them is perfect for it. And I re-entered the rereads into my Goodreads, and this is my 4th time rereading The Raven Boys, the first in the series, in like a 3 or 4 year span. So it's just that good. It's literally something that I go back to every single time, and it's new every single time. I'm still in the middle of the Dreamer trilogy. I'm kind of being stubborn and trying to wait until the other 2 come out in paperback so I can purchase them and add them to my little collection. It's a similar vein to The Raven Cycle, a few of the same characters, but explores a different story. From what I remember where I left off, I don't love it quite as much as The Raven Cycle, but it's Maggie Stiefvater, and I'm gonna love her writing regardless. The kind of theme of this bookshelf was a mixture between like magical, paranormal, and then like LGBTQ plus stories kind of all melded together. So the next 2 books on the shelf were written by TJ Klune. They're The House in the Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door. To be perfectly honest, I read these quite a while ago, so I don't remember much about the plot, but similarly, these were books that were just so beautifully written and so engaging of stories. Like, when I read the description of both of them, honestly, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. It sounds like something I've read before, and then I started it in just a few chapters and I was like, so new and so well done that they're some of the best books I've ever read. And I just actually learned that The House in the Cerulean Sea has a follow-up book, so I really gotta get to reading that. But once again, like, just so magical and engaging and interesting stories with unique perspectives that can sometimes be very emotionally charged, but just so good to read. And then of course we have my Heartstopper books as well as Solitaire. I think I've talked about the Heartstopper books a bit on my channel, so I'll keep it brief. You know, I just love them. They're quick, easy reads with similarly like such a wide array of perspectives brought out through beautiful drawings and writing, and done in a way that's both like impactful and authentic, but also easily digestible and fun to read. I haven't gotten to the 5th one yet. I do need to go do that. I've read the Heartstopper volumes 1 through 4. And I read Solitaire, which again just like is a beautiful book, and it was one of those books that I thought was going to be like super fun, super easy, and then I found myself like really invested in the story and identifying a lot with what was being told. So I'm really excited to keep exploring like Alice Oseman's work, but from what I read already, perfect. I love it. absolutely no complaints. Alright, we're back to crouching. Down here, this shelf is a lot like this other one I was talking about on the ground, where it's kind of like my reference book shelf. I've got the 4 cookbooks that I've collected. I've got ones that were gifted to me, like Kristen Kish cooking, and then the Momofuku Milk Bar baking book. I also believe the Harry Potter one was gifted to me. But then I also have this New York Times cookbook that I found at a thrift store, and I'm convinced was haunted, maybe just a little bit, but you know, it's fine now. So, and then over here I have like some random books that it's hard to see because they're so small. It's like just different reference books. Like for my birthday, my parents got me this crossword book that I'm gonna try and do a little bit over break. I don't have a place to put this, so I just put it down here for like easy access. I can just pull it out. I've also got like this one that I got for my birthday last year, How to Adult. Like these are things that I wouldn't necessarily sit down to read, but I would need or want to pull out every once in a while. So just a quick little fun shelf that is easy to add to and easy to access. These next 2 are going to be pretty quick because they just hold all of the books I own for one particular series. So up here, as you can see, I've got the Twilight series. I have the main 4 that I got secondhand, along with The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which fits in here somehow. And then I have Midnight Sun, which was a gift. Not much to say, you know, I haven't reread these books in a while. I am one of those people who did actually enjoy these books. I encourage all my friends to read them at least once, if only to say that you did. I do think my take on Midnight Sun was a little negative. I remember I wrote a Goodreads review about it. I don't remember what I said, but I remember thinking very negatively about it because it was nice. Like, I enjoyed reading a different perspective of Twilight, but at the same time, it's like twice as long as the original book. I think the book itself was very negative, which influenced it. I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. My favorite book in the series will always be Eclipse. I'm sure I had a reason at one point. I don't remember it now. Yeah, so this is my Twilight shelf. And then down here, I've got all of my Harry Potter books, which were also secondhand, I believe, most of them. I remember for my birthday, I'm just now realizing I get a lot of books for my birthday, actually. My mom ended up finding somebody who had copies of both the hardcover of the Harry Potter books and the paperbacks, and so she was able to get like the best condition of both of them, which is why it's so mismatched. And I kind of love it. They're all kind of unique. I've never actually read these copies that I own. I think I read the series that my sister and I owned together, which are now a part of her collection originally, and then these were just kind of to add to my overall collection and to have for like my family when I'm older. I think it's always fun to get secondhand books because it kind of feels like, think about how many people have read this exact copy of this book and how many people have loved it or maybe even hated it. I don't know. So I like looking at these. I've also got like the Fantastic Beasts book, which I don't think I ever fully read because I found out it was just like the screenplay, but I saw the movie and I think I remember liking it, so I have this for the collection as well. And then I also have, it was a Hufflepuff joke book that my sister got me, because if you didn't know, I'm a Hufflepuff. You know, we've got some good jokes. And then because that's in there, I also have like another mini joke book that I have in my collection. So pretty straightforward. I also have this little Voldemort ornament that I take out every year with my Christmas decorations to put along with my books over here. So you'll see him floating around as well. Alright, now finally to the darkest corner of my room. We have the last little set of shelves here. Of course, we have the remainder of the little trees. I don't think anyone's surprised at this point. But these shelves are a bit more unorganized, and I remember these were the shelves I had the hardest time figuring out how to orient. So up here at the top, I've got my Hunger Games books. I only have the first 2, and then I have the first one in Spanish that I did as a project. I also have the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I think is actually like my family's book, but somebody told me I could put it on my shelf, so I did. My favorite in the series has always been Catching Fire for inexplicable reasons. That was my favorite. This has kind of turned into my like dystopian corner, as well as like series that I'm still trying to get the rest of. Oh, and then I can't forget obviously Six of Crows, which is a cult favorite in my friend group. I've read the first one and I'm currently trying to get through Crooked Kingdom, which is on my bedside bookshelf right now. But as soon as I'm done with it, I'll somehow make room for it up here. Alright, and then last little cubicle, more kind of dystopian-esque books / series that I only own part of. I've got the Renegade series, which is another cult favorite in my friend group. We all love these and are also books that I reread all the time. I haven't though in a while, so I really should do that. I've also got like a couple of random ones like Nightfall, which I remember really loving, but also like kind of creeped me out. And then similarly like Mexican Gothic, really weird, but kind of fits the vibe of this bookshelf. So I don't know, maybe you can tell that these were the ones that I struggled the most with, but I think overall I achieved the goal of putting kind of similar books together. So yeah, those are all of my books over here. I think I want to show you a quick glance at those ones up there, but like I said, there's so many books up there, I'm not gonna go through every single one. Just kind of give you a look at what I'm hoping to read in the near future. Alright, so on the direct other side of the room, I've got these two bookshelves that hold the books that I have yet to read. That one is a little hard to show you because it's all the way in the corner. My bed and my bedside table take up the space over there, so this is as close as I can get to it, unfortunately. But I think you can see some of the books up there, as well as Thing Hand that I got for Halloween, and my little Lego build. That's my holiday advent calendar that I'm working on. But you can see some of the series that I'm wanting to read up there. And then next to it we have this one, which is a little easier to see. This one's more decorated, I guess, but I'm particularly proud of this little mushroom house that I painted myself. And then of course I have all my posters that you have all seen multiple times, and my mirror ball. Alright, well, that is all the books and bookshelves that I have to show you. They're honestly my favorite part of my room and bring me so much joy to just like look at them. So I thought I would bring that to you. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut myself off there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. But if you have any feedback or video ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And while you're there, maybe consider answering the question of the day, which today is going to be, what is your go-to hobby at the moment? Mine has obviously been reading. I've been on a rereading kick for a while. I've also been really into coloring on my iPad. My sister introduced me to this coloring app that is so fun, but also like difficult enough that it keeps me busy. And I do that while I'm reading or I'm watching a new show. So especially going into this winter break period that a lot of people are having, I'm wondering, what are you doing as a hobby? Let us know what you're doing in the comments below and we can talk about it. If you like this video and want to see more, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 7. Bye!